I told them I am not incapacitated, as I've been accused. And this floor that I live on is the memory unit. The people who live there don't remember anything. Unlike me, like, why am I here? What is going on? It's a cry for help. You know what I'm saying?
Wendy Williams is detailing how she ended up in the hospital after police conducted a welfare check. The former talk show host called into the Breakfast Club on March 11th, along with Gina Monterroso, president of Connect Care Advisory Group. The two women explained they were the ones who put in the call to police in the hopes of getting Wendy removed from the living facility she's been confined to under her court-ordered guardianship.
Well, the police showed up, and I'm exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I am exhausted, and I wanted to go to the hospital to talk to the doctor. Gina, you can expound upon that a bit, please.
So we were actually trying to figure out how to kind of break through and get some kind of motion into this case, because we were pretty stuck at one point waiting for the lawyers to get through and get some type of trial. So I did two things. I wrote a letter to the Adult Protective Services explaining to them Wendy's situation. She was isolated and we needed an investigation. Yesterday morning, during our morning calls, I told Wendy we will be calling the police. And we will be speaking to police, and we will be telling them that you are isolated.
Listen,
and we need some help.
So two police showed up, where I was, at the coterie, and so I was telling them, the same. And the next thing you know, there are two more police, so there are four in total. And I was talking with Gina, and saying, "Go ahead, Gina."
Yep, and the police came into the room. Wendy gave me the phone, and I pleaded with the police as if Wendy was my child. Please, you need to get her off this floor.
And listen,
she is confined.
I told them I am not incapacitated, as I've been accused. And this floor that I live on is the memory unit. The people who live there don't remember anything. Unlike me, like, why am I here? What is going on? It's a cry for help. You know what I'm saying?
Initial reports stated police got involved after Wendy dropped a note from her window that read, "Help Wendy." However, the two women explained Wendy did drop a note, but it was not what led to the authorities' involvement.
Now, Gina, let me ask you one question.
Yes.
There was something yesterday that said that Wendy dropped a note out the window, and that's how the police were called. Is that true? Is there any truth to that?
No.
That's so funny. Wendy's talking to me on the phone, and she's like, "Gina, there's a photographer downstairs. What do I do?"
Yep.
And I'm like, she's like, "Should I write them something?" And I'm
Listen,
yes, write help.
Let me tell you, this happened early in the morning. And it just so happens, because I have a window, a bathroom, and a bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the window, and I see somebody say hi. So I'm like, hi back. And I get on the phone, and I'm talking with Gina, and my niece. And I ask them this, that, and the third. Go ahead, Gina.
Yes, the note had nothing to do with it. Wendy and I actually called the police directly.
Okay.
And convinced the police to come over to do a welfare check.
Gina explains she pleaded with NYPD to get Wendy out of the facility so that she could be evaluated by an independent doctor to prove that she is not incapacitated.
And just insisted and pleaded with the officer on the phone that you have to get Wendy out of here. We have a guardian who is telling the whole building and the world that she's incapacitated.
Yes.
And she needs to be on a locked unit.
Yes.
And I said, please, you cannot walk out of that building without Wendy. And she told me, I promise, I will not.
Williams, who was diagnosed with dementia in 2023, revealed in a TMZ documentary in February that she had not been seen by a doctor in months. Now the two women are hopeful the independent tests will help get her out of the facility.
Well, when I got to the hospital, immediately, and they're saying, I get checked in, right? And then, they checked me for the heart palpitations, and they did all kinds of scans, and Gina, can you expound upon?
Yes. So she arrived at the hospital, and the attorney convinced the doctors. So according to what was told, the guardian was there and Wendy's attorney. And I think there was a little back and forth as whether she was going to allow Wendy, the guardian, to get evaluated.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor saw there was a difference between the guardian's opinion and her lawyer's opinion, and the doctor had to go to his legal department from the hospital to clear to see how he was going to do it. He received the clearance for the evaluation, and then Wendy took 2 evaluations, and pretty much they're evaluating whether she has competency and is able to make decisions, and she passed both tests.
What does the 10-10 mean?
I'm sorry?
What does the 10-10, what does it mean? You tell me what 10
out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, correct. 10 questions asked, 10 questions correct, answered correctly.
I mean, they asked me simple things like, you know, who's the president? You know what I'm saying? What's my birth date? Anyway, yeah, I scored.
Who'd you tell them the president was, Wendy?
Oh, please. A friend of mine. a friend of mine.
A friend of mine.
Who was on the show and also beyond.
I have a question for you guys too. So there are reports that this exam that you did can't be used in moving forward to prove the like that you're not incapacitated. Can you clear that up or like explain? Like, I don't know if I missed that part. Like how this will be used.
That's actually false. That's a medical exam done by an independent doctor by a very well-known hospital. You can use that for the court.
Wendy's guardianship was put in place following her diagnosis for frontotemporal dementia, the same condition Bruce Willis has. Wendy has previously denied having FTD, and in February, her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, requested a new medical evaluation for the TV personality.
No.
Well, you know what? Do you want to know what? My guardian person says that I don't know how to talk, that everything's scripted, which is untrue. You know what? The same person who says I'm incapacitated, which I am not. Oh, excuse me. These are the same people who say, you know, if you say something too much, then I am too scripted or whatever. It's like saying whatever. Like, who doesn't say whatever? I'm sorry. I say whatever.
It's all.
What do you say?
I call it like all Jedi mind game.
Right.
She really just wanted the world to believe that Wendy was incapacitated. She had her locked up.
Yes.
She gave her a phone where she can't receive calls. And her big mistake was that she didn't realize who Wendy Williams was.
That's right.
And she has a platform like Breakfast Club, and she's very well connected, and there are people who will back her up. Continue supporting Wendy. Continue just hashtag free Wendy. We're hoping we can kind of find an alternative plan instead of going back to the luxury prison. I know Wendy wants to give a big shout out to NYPD, who came in and just stood their ground and make sure that Wendy was able to walk out of that building.
And shout out to all the New York police people. Please, thank you.
We love you, Wendy.
Wait, real quick, Gina.
Thank you very much. I love you all too.
Lauren?
What's the timeline on this? Like the investigation and stuff. Like how does that work? Because I know there's 2 now,
Which
right?
investigation?
There's one by APS, Adult Protective Services, and one by NYPD. So, like in the next couple
Adult
days,
Protective Services. The case is still open. I have the direct line to the worker that will be handling the case. There's a couple of options I put out for APS of how they should come in here and even come into the court and make a recommendation that the guardian should be removed, that Wendy should be in a less restricted environment. Adult Protective Services does have that power, and I'm urging them that they immediately use that power.